Hi everyone, Shalene Davis here. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. We are going to go through my freezers and all my food storage to prepare for this pantry challenge. So if that sounds interesting to you, then stay tuned for the rest of this video. Hi everybody, it's that special time of year. I've never actually done this challenge with them, but I've always kind of done my own version. I'm actually always trying to use up what is going to go bad, and I'm always trying to work through my stuff. But I'm going to try to do the pantry challenge with everyone. If you know anything, if you don't know anything about it, it's the Three Rivers Challenge by Jessica. I don't know her last name, but she's at Three Rivers Homestead. She's amazing. Just a good homestead mama. But she is going to be, she starts the challenge, and a lot of different YouTubers will participate. So I'm going to attempt to do it. I don't know how far I'm going to get. Like I said, I do this on a daily basis anyway, but I'm going to try to participate and take you guys here along with us, because you know, if you've been around here, that I don't like to waste food, and I'm very frugal with our grocery budget. So we're just going to start. I've got a pen and paper here, and I'm just gonna go through everything I have in my pantry. We're gonna go through my pantry, my fridge, both of my freezers, and we're just gonna do the best that we can to just make a list of things that really need to be used up. I'm not trying to get rid of all my food in my house. That is definitely not. That would be defeating the purpose, because you know me, I like to have a little bit of a back stock. But I do know the stuff that's been here a couple years, some of the things that I know that I just want to get out of my pantry. So if that interests you, go ahead and come along with me. I challenge you to do some kind of a pantry challenge also. We all just spent a ton of money at Christmas, so it's kind of a way of getting your budget back on track. They say usually to set a certain budget a week for groceries. I don't know that I'm gonna do all of that. I'm just gonna be a lot more intentional about what I buy. I've got a house full of people here, so I can't exactly say I'm gonna spend $25 a week on groceries. But I am very frugal. I don't buy it unless it's on sale most of the time. And so, yeah, that's just kind of what I do naturally. But I am gonna be more intentional about not going crazy with it, with the exception of New Year's. We're probably gonna buy some kind of little fun food for that. But, all right, come along here with me. So we're gonna start off in my pantry. So if you can see, I love this organizer that I got. I have my spices, I have my dry mixes. So on top, I noticed right away that I've got the Jiffy mix that I need to use up. And so I'll put that on my list to use. And then I've got a bunch of taco shells that I got at my local discount store, and I needed to go ahead and use those up. I've got some lasagna noodles that I'm going to make some lasagna soup. Stay tuned for that video. There's a fun little storyline and a nice little memory that goes along with that video, but that will be coming up soon. So I'm just going to go through each and every little area of my pantry. So I got some of the French fried onions from my discount store. We didn't make any green bean casseroles, so I've still got those to use up. I've got that heavy cream from Trader Joe's. You have to let me know if you've ever tried that before, but I've got it and it's been in my pantry for a little while. So we got to definitely use that up, but I'll probably just put it in like soups or something like that. So just go through everything. You got a pen and a paper. I've got some of my canned brisket there that I'm probably going to turn into some kind of a soup. So many different things. This is just kind of like my working pantry that I have. And so all my bulk stuff is actually downstairs. I don't have all of it upstairs. So just going through everything and just making a note of anything that's been here. I'm going to say probably longer than 6 months. I'm going to try to weed out. So I got all these baskets. I've got like my pasta in one of them, some treats in another one, Mexican dishes in another one, and some like beans and lentils. If you guys know any good recipes that involve lentils, leave those in the comments below, because I really need to use up lentils. I know they're good for me. They're high protein, and I just really need to find some recipes to use those up. So we are going to go now to my kitchen freezer. So this is my refrigerator freezer combo, and if you guys don't do this, when you clean out your freezers, highly recommend getting like 3 or 4 baskets. You can probably use reusable bags and things like that, but I just pull everything out and I make 3 or 4 different categories. So most of mine is like things that need to be used up immediately, easy foods, healthy foods, and then usually some kind of like for meats. And so I'm just pulling each thing out, making note of how long it's been there, how quickly I need to use it up. But there's a lot of things, and this freezer is just a hot mess. So I did find the croutons that I was looking for earlier that day, so that's good. I've got a couple things of broccoli. I've got some chocolate chips that I get in my local discount store. But that's what you're going to do, guys. Just go through each and everything in your freezer and just make notes of it. And so you're doing an inventory. You can do a detailed inventory and actually write how many you have of each one. But I think just kind of making a note of what you want to use up. I can't ever stick with any kind of like an inventory system. I never end up marking it off and all of that. So I think by making kind of a list of what I want to use up, maybe that'd be a better approach of, how to do it instead of what I actually have. So just kind of pulling everything out. Like I said, making note of how can I use this up in a meal. And this side of the freezer is actually my side. So I've got like all my healthier things. I've got like frozen, I don't know if you guys do this or not, but a lot of my dairy products, I like to portion out into like 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup. I do that in like my muffin tin and I freeze those up, and then I've got individual portion size. You can put it in soups, but like cottage cheese, there's so many different things everybody can do with cottage cheese. And so having that in my freezer, I can always add it to a smoothie. I can add it to all kinds of different things. So now we're going to work through the bottom. So the left part of my freezer is just got a lot of my easy foods. Got some ice cream, got some cheese, different things like that. So the right side is mostly going to be my meats. And so these tortilla shells I need to put on my list of things to get rid of because they're starting to get a little bit of freezer burnt on them. So I did find some more breadcrumbs and we used those up. I made some pie crust. I've got some cheese. I've got some more tomatoes I need to actually add with my freezer downstairs, and we're going to make up some more of that salsa. I don't know if I made that video and I've released it or not, but that salsa recipe, it was not mine. It's from Homesteading with the Zinnermans. It was a really good salsa recipe. That chicken right there, highly recommend. If you go to Sam's, if you have a Sam's membership, it's that grilled mesquite chicken, and it is so good. You can put it on a salad for like a grilled cheese or grilled chicken Caesar salad. We had that. Me and my daughter absolutely loved it. You could do fajitas, you could do quesadillas, you could just eat it with some steamed veggies on the side. But oh my goodness, such good flavor, so good, and a great convenience item. I'm pretty sure the ingredients were pretty clean. We actually use it for our Alfredo, but yes, really good. So here's my garage freezer. It's kind of like an overflow from our kitchen freezer. So in this door, I've got my chicken broth that we made. I didn't want to can that up because of just the whole thing. So I went ahead and froze it, and that works out really good. And I'm just going to put all my stock stuff together so that when I go to make stock next time, I know where all of that is. This garlic bread I get from Sam's. It's a big box for like $8, but it is a much better price if you buy the cheap garlic bread that is super processed and not good for you. We buy that for special occasions, and we were going to have it for Christmas. So we're now downstairs in my basement. Sorry about the lighting. It's absolutely horrible. It's not good for filming. I just wanted to kind of show you my couple of freezers downstairs. So I have an upright and I have a chest freezer. I've got some white American cheese I'm kind of holding up there. We make our own queso and make our own chicken nachos. So I don't know if you guys do that or not, but it's just the white American cheese with some diced chilies and that's basically your Mexican queso dip. You can do some like chili powder, cumin, different things like that, but that's your 2 ingredients that makes your basic Mexican queso dip. So highly recommend trying that. Mostly in this chest freezer, it's mostly just meat. You can see on top, I'm kind of pulling out some English muffins. I talk about that later in the video, how we use that up, but there's some homemade English muffins. I end up getting 2 turkeys because they were such a good deal, and why pass that up? I can can it up, whatever I want to do with it, or just have a big dinner for my family. I have another brisket in here I know I need to go through, and then I always keep chicken, I always keep hamburger, and then I actually have some Philly cheesesteak meat that we're going to treat ourselves and go through pretty quickly. So I'm going to be just kind of being more intentional. Oh wait, I found some more tomatoes from my garden this year. My garden didn't do very well this year, but I'm going to go ahead and can those up, probably make some homemade salsa. I don't know if I talked about this or not, but Homesteading with the Zimmermans has a really good salsa recipe that we really liked. So now we're going to go into my emergency food storage. So I've just got some extras of the things that we use a lot of. As you can see, ketchup is one of them we go through. Here's all my canned goods. So I've got my canned pasta sauces. I've got some chili base I was holding up to you. I've got some different canned beans, canned chicken. I buy refried beans just to kind of keep on hand. I need to start working through some of that. And then I'm probably I didn't think about that. I wonder if can refried beans and make homemade. I have to look into that. So I just want to thank you so much for joining me as we went through my freezers and my food storage. I've got a list of all of the things that need to be used up in the next month or 2. Just going to get those on those rotations. So some of it's going to be some interesting stuff. Some's going to be some pretty boring stuff. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you later. Bye. Hi everybody. I just wanted to pop on here and kind of tell you how I did with my pantry challenge this week. So you probably won't see me filming videos in the evenings and stuff because my family's running around and it's just a crazy time. I will do my best to see if I can start filming some of the meals that I put together. But this is kind of what I came up with. So the way my schedule works, we have mostly adult children, and then we have one middle schooler. So of course my husband. So I usually make some kind of a big dinner on Sunday, and then I cook on Tuesday, and I cook on like Thursday, and then we'll do something more special like a fancier dinner or even an easier dinner on Saturday. So the way that works for me is, so we ended up having, I filmed that on Sunday, and so ham and beans and cornbread, that used up the cornbread that was in my pantry for a while that I wanted to use up. That used up a bunch of beans that I always have and are getting older. I had some ham steaks that used that up. So that one meal, I had already knocked out 3 things. Like I said, I kind of do this on a daily, weekly basis anyway, but this is just going to force me to go to another extreme and really make a list of what I do want to get rid of. So then on Tuesday night, my daughter's been asking for meatloaf. So meatloaf was another opportunity to use up some ground beef, which I always have, the stuffing mix. So I have had that stuffing mix in my thing, I want to say last year, but I'm not sure. It kind of gets rotated through. So it wasn't super old, but I was able to use it up. I had some sweet potatoes that I needed to cook up, so I just roasted them up beside that. And then the corn. So we processed and froze a bunch of corn at the end of the year, end of the summer. And so I've kind of forgot about it, and it's been down there. And when I looked in my freezer the other morning, I realized that there's so much corn in there and I haven't been through it yet. So I don't want it to go freezer burnt. So we went ahead and pulled out 2 bags of that corn and ate that. So that was a second meal that used up a lot of ingredients. So got really creative with the third one. I'm really kind of proud of myself. So we ended up, my son's go-to is always spaghetti. So we always have things for spaghetti on hand at all times. So I can always throw him spaghetti together. But we had some leftover noodles, and they were the penne noodles because I was actually out of spaghetti noodles, which usually doesn't happen, but it did. So I had some Alfredo noodle or penne noodles. left. And we had some crab stuffed mushrooms that me and my daughter just were not going through. So I decided to maybe get a little creative. And so I went ahead and I took and chopped up those crab stuffed mushrooms and put them in my Alfredo. It's kind of got the same vibes. It's got the cream cheese, it's got the cheese. The crab was the only thing that was really different, but the mushrooms were delicious in that. And so I used up my noodles, I used up my crab stuffed mushrooms, I used up some heavy cream that I had in my pantry, in my fridge. I used up some Alfredo sauce that I had in my pantry, and then I actually had some breadcrumbs in my freezer that I just homemade breadcrumbs whenever I have bread that I make my own sourdough bread. So whenever I have that left over, or whenever I have garlic bread left over, I just put it in my freezer and we'll either make croutons or breadcrumbs out of it. And so I just topped that on there and it was so delicious. We ended up having a dessert that night. I made my husband's chocolate pie that he loves, so that got rid of two packs of pudding. Had some graham cracker crumbs in there from a while. Sometimes I buy the pre-made graham cracker crust around Thanksgiving and different holidays, but sometimes I don't. And one time I did, and I had those graham cracker crumbs left over, and they've been in there for a little while. So I was happy to use those up, and I just made like a little chocolate pudding pie. It's just basic. It's graham cracker crumbs, chocolate pudding. You can put whipped cream on top, but I actually made it a little more decadent by, I had some more heavy cream, and we added that with the milk to make the pudding. So it just made it a little more rich, a little more decadent. So, and then the English muffins that we had down in my freezer. So I'm always trying to keep something for my family during the week to grab and go for breakfast. So I had all those English muffins. So I don't know if I did not film that because it was more for my family. I might start doing that in the future, but the English muffins I got for 50 cents a pack at Dollar Tree. I never used to do that, but it seems like it's happening a lot more often. So check your local Dollar Tree. English muffins for 50 cents a pack, because they're normally $1. They marked them down, so 50 cents a pack. You can't beat that for 6 English muffins. And so yes, I make my own English muffins, but for that price, I'll buy them. I just went ahead and toasted them up a little bit. I make like, I think it's like 12 eggs in a 9x13 little casserole dish. Cook that in the oven. That way it's easy to go. I split those between my eggs. I get the ham from Sam's. It's like a 2-pack for $7. Can't beat that. I cut that actually in quarters because it's pretty big pieces of ham. And then I just put like a half a slice of American cheese on them, and they are ready to go breakfast for my family, and they absolutely love them. So it sets them up for success for their day. They can just grab them, put them in the microwave real quick, and eat them on their way to work. So I try to do something like that for my family. So that's how my week went. I hope this helped you. Hope you gave you some meal inspiration. If you guys are following along with this challenge, put it in the comments and we'll talk about it below. So I will see you later. Bye.